It doesn't look like that's working. Hello. Oh my gosh. Screencast. What are you doing? Uh-oh. It's doing both. Well, let's just work with what we got. So obviously, guys, remember you guys are supposed to read and highlight. Like in this first paragraph, 1790. I like dates. That helps me give a frame of reference because I know that's early on in Washington's tenure as president. Sent a report to Congress that outlined his financial plan for the national government, which included raising money to pay off the federal debt. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to raise money for the federal government? Interesting. I think maybe the my speakers are broken. He's going to urge Congress to pass, yeah, the first federal tax. It's going to be, I usually don't highlight a big, huge line, but I don't want to break it up since we're on computers and it's like all buttons. So 25% sales tax. Maybe I can bold that. Control B on American made liquor known as the whiskey tax. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one thing to forget, don't forget, there's going to be a carriage. I forget what the name of it, but there's going to be a carriage tax too. So this isn't the only tax. 25%, that's a hefty amount. It's also going to get lowered. I forget if that's in here. This paragraph is saying that it's kind of a big deal for these farmers out in the western rural areas. The tax is going to end up costing them about $6 of their 20 dollars a year total income. So that's a solid chunk. That's more than 25% of their income. And remember, they're harvesting acres upon acres of wheat. So what's easier to transport, cartloads full of wheat in big old bales and yeah, bales, or would you distill it into a liquid form? And so basically, a classroom full of wheat would come down to 5 bottles of whiskey. Guess which one is easier to haul over mountains? Yeah, a couple bottles of whiskey. Um, so you should have at least one thing in each paragraph highlighted. Again, here's that video link to tell you really specific information that I really, really recommend that you guys watch that video. It's also in the Google Classroom post and on the HyperDoc. I think it's like a History Channel one. So please, please, please. And you know what? It's not at 3 minutes, if I remember correctly. It's 1 minute. I'll have to double check that. And then another key thing is make sure in here, this is Article 1. This is all Article 1, Section 8. Remember, that's called Powers of Congress. You definitely want to highlight 3 things in here that relate to the Whiskey Rebellion. So I definitely highlighted this part because Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 says that Congress has the power to put in a tax. Straight right there. You can't argue that one. Everyone signed, all the states signed on to this Constitution, which is a contract with the government. And it says right there, Congress can pass a tax. Well, Congress passed a tax. It's on whiskey. As the video, I'm sure you guys watched the video, right? If you don't like it, well, wait until the next election and vote those suckers out. If you don't want someone from your home state of Georgia that thinks school shootings are fake and that space laser started the California wildfires or whatever that Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, then vote her butt out. She's in the House. It'll only take 2 years. There's some other good ones in here. And remember, the president's role, according to Article 2, he swears an oath. Remember, you don't have to swear it on a Bible. You can swear it on whatever you want. But you do have to swear an oath, and you have to execute the office of the President of the United States. You have to execute the laws. You have to carry out the laws. And you have to defend the Constitution. President shall be commander in chief of the military. And one big thing right here, he shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. I'm not too worried about commissioning officers. But this is important. That means that the president has duties when something happens. Like, let's just say, I don't know, maybe there's something highly illegal going on, like, I don't know, windows are being bust out in a federal building, or maybe like a Capitol building is being attacked. The president should be doing something. But that's just a hypothetical. Just a hypothetical. Anyways, back to this. All right, Hamilton's plan for paying off the debt. That was the first question. Oh, I guess I didn't really discuss this with you guys, but that was the first thing that I mentioned on that screencast, my lecture. He's got 2 choices. Should we pay off citizens first, our own citizens, or should we pay off foreign countries? Shout out on the Google. Go ahead. Hello? What does Hamilton want to do? I guess no one's talking. Yeah, he wants to pay off the foreign debt. Do you agree? Ah, man, I'm split on that one. So this is an opinion question. Make sure you show your opinion, give reasoning. Try not to do a doofy single sentence. Yes, I agree. It is wise to pay off foreign countries. Hamilton's ideal economy. Remember, Jefferson is the agrarian. Agrarian means agricultural. Jefferson is the farmer guy. He backs up the small independent farmers of America. He thinks they're the honest workers of America. He thinks they're virtuous. Hamilton is a city guy. Hamilton likes manufacturing, merchants. He wants business, business, business. He's a monopoly guy, not like literally monopoly, like I'm at the board game, you know. Whiskey Rebellion. Here's one thing where I've been a little miffed on some students' responses. They've been giving me the most like cookie cutter, 5,000 rebels in West. No, they just say 5,000 people protested against whiskey taxes and they rebelled. Guys, 5 W's. When was it? Where was it? Who was involved? What actually happened? Why were they rebelling? The next question, summarize the problems. That's going to be on page 209 in your textbook, the right side, fourth paragraph down, or the fourth paragraph on the reading document. What is the major problem posed by the Whiskey Rebellion? What problem does it pose for our country? Not just, oh, there's 5,000 guys with guns and they don't like it. No. Like, what's the big picture problem? What happens when citizens argue against laws with guns? What did the government do about the rebellion? Be very specific here about what Mr. Washington does. And be sure to use your text, your reading document, and your textbook here for Washington's reasoning. I think this is a pretty fascinating one. Remember, Jefferson has the back of the little guys. He even has an awesome quote that's, to paraphrase, it's from time to time, the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed with the blood of tyrants and something alike. I forget that. I should know that. But he's saying, you know what? Every once in a while, once a generation, it's good to have a reminder. It's good to have a little rebellion, spice things up, and make sure we're sticking to our roots of being all about the people. That's kind of bold words right there. A little revolution, that's all right. It's good for us. Make sure you don't quote me on that. Make sure you get legit reasoning here for this box. And here's the big deal. For this last question, do you think Washington's response to the crisis was legal and justifiable? I'll give you a hint. The answer is yes, it is legal, and yes, it is justifiable. Definitely use that 4-minute video, not the crash course, but that like History Channel video and the text. Use the Constitution to prove that Washington's actions as commander in chief and president of the United States were justified and legitimate. Okie dokie. That's what I got for you. Anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns?